Control isn't connection, it's tension. I was working with a client recently who was really struggling on how to take all of these amazing skills that he had as a leader running his own business and thinking those skills applied to when he was at home. And it's a common theme that I see with the men I work with. Because if you think about it, like to be a leader, run a business, it requires a level of strategic thinking, requires a level of decision making, and often requires a level of control. And certainly that can be healthy or unhealthy. Yet at some level, most leaders have a need to be in control, to control the outcome, control the decisions of the business. And again, that's a spectrum from control freak to control input. And so these incredible qualities which can help build a business usually don't have any validity when it comes to home. I often tell my clients that they need to have a transition from work to home. Even if they work from home, when they finish and walk out of the office, they're taking off their CEO hat and becoming husband and father. Or when they're driving home from work, finding a place to pull up and park, even if it's the driveway, close your eyes, do a few breaths. Yep, take off that business owner hat and transition into being the father, to being the husband. Because what happens is that control isn't connection, it's tension. So many times the masculine will walk into the house without changing hats. And because a big part of their role is to find problems. I used to do this all the time when I was running my legal practice. As a lawyer, my role was to find the problem in the situation, the document, whatever was going on. And I'd come home and Amala had spent the afternoon getting dinner ready, getting the kids ready, and all I'd see was the problems. And it caused a very unhealthy dynamic. And then on top of that, wanting to control it, wanting it to look a certain way, like I did at work. And so the realization is that if you're really committed to this and really committed to let going of control, remember control is just a context. Context gives meaning to content. If my context is control, then in the content, whatever the situation, I'm going to micromanage, I'm going to manipulate, I'm going to get my outcome. And the real key is control lives in the thinking mind and comes from fear. Because the reason we want to control externally is because somewhere as little people, we didn't feel safe internally. And it's a useful strategy at 3, at 5, yet not at 43 and 45. And again, that was my story. When my parents separated, I was 7, and there was a lot of energy going on. Yeah, a lot of tension in the house. And of course, little me didn't feel safe. So I attempted to control the external world. And it worked until it didn't. And so if your tendency is to control, coming from that place of lack of safety, coming to the place of trying to control the external world, the real key is to shift the context from control to trust. Because if you trust that you're okay and trust it's going to be okay, your energy and your nervous system start to settle. So that's the thinking shift. Changing the context from controlling to trusting. From trusting, you just respond. But the energetic shift, control comes from resistance and fear. Trust comes from getting in your body and remembering that we process at a thinking level, at a feeling level, at an intuitive level. Trusting our instinct, trusting our gut, getting present with our body. What's going on here? Is the family safe? Absolutely. Are the kids going to be okay? Absolutely. Has my wife got it covered? Absolutely. It doesn't mean with the children you don't set boundaries. It doesn't mean you don't have conversations. It just comes from a very different energy. Your nervous system is regulated, present. You're trusting your intuition as opposed to control. And so with the children, again, many, many times, this identity and mask that fathers wear of, I don't know how to set boundaries, I'm not sure what they think of me, am I a good dad or a bad dad? Often that's coming from fear and control. Remember, fundamentally, you have a role as a father to support the feminine, to set boundaries, to allow the developmental process for the children. And they're just little beings. They want to connect with you, want to play with you, want to be with you. So when you trust it's all going to be okay, you can bring your little boy out. You can bring that part of you out at times that just wants to play and be present. True presence. Not presence through doing, presence through being. Being a father, not doing fatherhood. Coming from that place of trust. And that's the shift as well. And you can take that into the workplace. Again, a lot of people have controlling leaders. And whilst it gets an outcome, there's a level of pressure and tension in the business. When I work with high-performing leaders, if they really want to grow their business, they've got to change their identity from needing to control to needing to trust. Trusting themselves, telling their truth, listening to that intuition, listening to that niggle. That willingness is so powerful. And so just note it for yourself. What's building your business won't get you to the next level of the business. The success mountain won't get you to the freedom mountain. And also what's built your business probably won't have impact at home. And of course, the feminine just wants to be seen, wants to be heard, and wants to be held. So control doesn't do any of that. Presence, trust, a regulated nervous system, she can feel safe to be seen. She can feel heard. That's what the feminine's looking for. Be that husband and that father, as opposed to the CEO that you are before you get home. If this landed for you, go to the link below to check out the True Freedom Plan. This is the map from the Success Mountain to the Freedom Mountain.